You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That is one of the many amazing quotes from Marcus Aurelius, who is my favorite figure in history. He was the emperor of Rome from 161 to 180 CE, and he was a big practitioner of Stoicism. And his book, Meditations, is one of my favorite books of all time. It's not even technically a book. It was never meant to be for the public. It's his own personal journal. So today I want to share with you some Stoic rules from Marcus Aurelius that can quickly change your life no matter where you are at. Okay, but first, what exactly is Stoicism? It's an ancient philosophy dating back to the Greeks and Romans that teaches the pursuit of wisdom, tranquility, and virtue. The main idea of Stoicism is to become resilient, emotionally strong, and overall just gaining control over our minds. During my senior year of high school, I was going through an extraordinarily tough time. It felt like my entire life was falling apart. My family was in complete shambles. I had made a lot of decisions that I held a lot of regret and hatred towards myself over. And overall, I just hated myself and my entire life to the point that I really considered on a daily basis just taking my own life. It's really funny saying that now because I've never felt so good, so happy, and so proud of who I am and the person that I've grown to. But I would have never been able to grow into the person that I am today without facing the idea of death. And that's why the first rule you need to live by is memento mori. Remember, you must always die. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. Death is one of life's greatest teachers. That's why people can completely change after a near-death experience. They're forced to reconsider their entire life, where they were headed, what their priorities are, because they're reminded that one day they're going to be gone. Perfection of character is this: to live each day as if it were your last. Without frenzy, without apathy, without pretense, Marcus says. When you start thinking about death more, you start to feel more gratitude for every second that you're alive, for every breath of air that you take in. You are truly cherishing life and living in the present moment because you are aware of the fact that this thing called life can be taken away from you any second. You start living with a sense of urgency, wanting to live life to the fullest, doing what's important to you, not caring about other people's opinions. Because one day, we're all gonna be dead. So what we do now doesn't even really matter in the grand scheme of things, so you might as well just do whatever it is that you want. You really just want to be on your deathbed and just know that you lived life to the fullest, that you have no regrets, that you are proud of the life that you lived. And I know death is a scary topic to think about. That's exactly why you need to think about it. It's the only thing that's guaranteed in life. And now I literally always remind myself about it. I even have my lock screen set to, hopefully it focused, set to a skull, literally reminding me that I'll be dead one day. But the way I remind myself of it is not in a negative way that it was before. It's in the most loving, amazing, grateful way possible. Have you ever found yourself doing things that deep down you know that you shouldn't and don't even want to do, but yet do it anyway? Because I definitely have many times in my life. I used to be the type to jump at every single emotion and impulse I felt, even though part of me knew that I shouldn't take action on whatever it is it might have been, like skipping my workout or eating a shitty meal. And anytime I would follow through with this impulsive action that my mind tricked me into doing, I would just feel an immense amount of regret. Marcus says to stop allowing your mind to be a slave, to be jerked about by selfish impulses, to kick against fate in the present, and to mistrust the future. And that's why the second rule you must live by is to not being jerked around by your body. You can't expect to live life to the fullest and become a better version to yourself if your body still has control over you. You need to constantly remind and tell yourself not to be jerked around by your body. Saying this line to yourself over and over is going to enter your subconscious mind more so that you're naturally more disciplined. Like Marcus said, Stop giving in to these selfish impulses. You're not only hurting yourself, but the world around you, because you're not becoming the best that you can be. You're not able to give your full gift to the world. You need to be disciplined to become the best version of yourself, not for selfish reasons, but so that you can make the world a better place. I used to be somebody that struggled with anxiety and overthinking a lot, and I'd be lying to myself if I still don't occasionally struggle with it, but it's definitely not to the extent that it once was. Anytime I would try something new or set a new goal for myself, the anxiety and overwhelm would just start to overtake me. But what if things don't work out? What if I'm not good enough? But then I just have to remind myself of this next rule, to just focus on the controllables, on the next step that's in front of me. Marcus said, "Today I escaped from anxiety," or no, I discarded it because it was within me and my own perceptions, not outside. It's so unbelievably easy to get caught up in these uncontrollables of this chaotic world, especially with the news and social media. But focusing on this is just simply going to make us feel like we're in less control. And that feeling of not having control over your life is what spirals you into anxiety and fear. The more we value the things outside our control, the less control we have. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work. As a human being, what do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do? Or is this what I was created for? To huddle under the blankets and stay warm. So you were born to feel nice instead of doing things and experiencing them? Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants, the spiders and bees going about their individual tasks, putting the world in order as best as they can? And you're not willing to do your job as a human being? Why aren't you running to do what your nature demands? You don't love yourself enough, or you'd love your nature too, and what it demands of you. Man, it's a hard-hitting quote. I remember when I read this for the first time in meditations. It made getting out of bed 1,000 times easier. But it's funny that even Marcus Aurelius, someone from 2,000 years ago, is struggling with the same issues that we face today. Just getting out of bed, out of the nice, warm pillow and blankets, and going to do what our nature demands of us. That's why the next rule is to constantly remind yourself you were not born to stay under the covers. You were meant to go out and live life, experience all of the amazing things life has to offer, and most importantly, giving your gift to the world. It's so much easier to get out of bed in the morning this way when you're constantly reminding yourself of how much there is to experience, the amazing things that there are in life, everything that you get to learn and do, and all the suffering that you get to face and overcome so that you can become the best version of yourself. As I build up my self-discipline, I find myself wanting to push other people around me to become more disciplined. And honestly, sometimes I do it to the point where it's a little too extreme. And yes, while it's good to try and get other people around you to be better, you can't be controlling and expect a lot out of them like you can with yourself. That's why it's called self-discipline. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself, Marcus would tell himself. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Just be one. Instead of trying to tell others how to be disciplined and how to be a better man, just simply be one and hope that they will look at you, look at your character, how disciplined you are, and take it as inspiration so that they're able to better themselves. Because just like any other emotion, discipline can be contagious as well. Now, as I'm saying all these Stoic philosophical rules to the camera, I'm still trying to remind myself to live by them. And that's exactly what Marcus would do as well. He knew that he would never be perfect. I know that I'll never be perfect, but why can't we still strive to be? And none of these rules will matter if you don't actually apply them to your life. So, how can you do that? Well, you do exactly what Marcus did. You journal to yourself. If you want to learn how you can get started on journaling, just click on this video right over here. It's my complete guide to journaling. And remember to always stay curious and aware.